What's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. And it's a late in the day video drop. I've had enough time to look at the charts throughout the day and see the price action playing out over here in Bitcoin and in the cryptocurrency market to see we're still just waddling along in here. I put out a video yesterday really kind of showing the conflicting things throughout the entire cryptocurrency market in regards to Bitcoin being below all of its moving averages in here. Not really the best sign you could see out there for Bitcoin. We could see that the total altcoin market cap still sitting above the all-time high and bouncing right there off of that 200-week moving average. And it's been a really wild ride in the cryptocurrency market for the last, 3 months. I've had some opportunities to really kind of ponder my portfolio in the cryptocurrency market because there's been a lot of contagion in this market. There's been a lot of downward price action, a lot of unknown factors in this market on what's coming next. Is there going to be other things that happen? We have the Luna and UST blow up that ends up leading to Celsius being a solvent or going quiet and locking users' funds, and BlockFi, then Three Arrows Capital and Voyager. And it just seems to keep going and going and going. And the big question is it going to stop? Is there going to be more of it? Are we going to see this continuing to be impacted and prices continuing to flush down? And it's a really hard question to answer. We can look at this. We can look at the total altcoin market cap. Never in this market have I been in here where we've had something of this magnitude happen, where you're just having contagion after contagion after contagion happening in the market. And what comes next in the market? And with all the confliction that I have and what I showed in the video yesterday, I'm not really knowing which direction this market's going to go right now. And if there's going to be more contagion that causes prices to get impacted even more, well, the question comes, I'm looking over here at my portfolio and I'm like, man, if we're going to go deeper, right, am I going to be able to hold these things with conviction deep down into some type of bear that ends up coming that gets really deep and really ugly, and be able to weather the storm for myself getting through all that? And I think that's the conflict that I've been battling with myself right now. I own like 30 to 40 different cryptocurrencies. Many of them I've held for 3, 4, some 5 years. And as you guys know, I did a lot of rotations with my Bitcoin back in February of 2021. Some of them have held up okay, some of them not. My rotations primarily were into Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum Classic, Dash, XRP, EOS, and Zcash. I did those rotations back in here in February and really during these time periods in here, and have just been holding on to them ever since. In the meantime, Bitcoin has fallen 60%. Well, since that time, Bitcoin Cash has fallen 77%, Dash has fallen 59%, EOS has fallen 72%, Ethereum Classic is up 85%, XRP is down 22%, and Zcash is down 43%. So of those, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, EOS would have been better off just staying in Bitcoin. But for XRP, Ethereum Classic, and Zcash, netted slightly better than being in Bitcoin, with Ethereum Classic being up about 85%, even with Bitcoin being down 60%. So kind of a mixed bag. We didn't really see much of an alt season come in the cryptocurrency market, and it's questionable if we're going to. I personally have a strong belief in having decentralized money with a limited supply that is not in control by a government. In particular, I really value privacy, and I think that's really important in money. I was brought into this market by Bitcoin. I thought Bitcoin was awesome. I totally backed it up. As you guys know, I'm a huge silver and gold lover too, right? Just the whole idea of having your own money that can't just be printed with the print of a finger or hitting a finger on a keyboard. But as I grew in this space, I learned a lot of things. Learned about XRP. I really understood it, because if we were going to start using this as cross-border payments, and if it was going to be utilized in business practices, it made a lot of sense to me. If you don't know this about me, I've done a lot of international supply chain business, and I've wire transferred many times, multiple tens of thousands of dollars per wire transfer. And it's the silliest process in the world that we have out there, that we still do that to this day when engaging in international business. So start learning a lot about new different types of technologies in the crypto space, the problems that they can solve. And XRP has made the most sense to me because of how fast it is, how cheap it is, and love it or hate it, whether or not it's okay with you that Ripple has a large amount of them, there is a limited supply of it. And when it came to, currencies, privacy coins made the most sense to me. And they still do, especially things like Monero, which is considered the gold standard of privacy coins. But you've got others out there. You've got Dash and you've got Zcash as well. And as we enter this moment of unknown on what's going to happen here in the cryptocurrency market, I think it's time for me to start kind of considering what am I going to do about my personal portfolio to be able to weather the storm. Is the cryptocurrency market collapsing? Or are we just weeding out a bunch of stuff? Or is there more contagion that's going to be coming? I don't know all the answers to all of those things, but I can see what rotations have worked for me, what rotations haven't worked for me. And I have to start saying, what am I going to do in order to keep my sanity moving forward if we're going to keep going down? What can I have conviction in for holding? And that's kind of where I'm at right now on like being like, what am I going to do for my portfolio to like have conviction? You know, if the market's crashing into oblivion, obviously the cash is the place to be, right? I don't have that answer on if the market's going to crash into oblivion, but I have to say, what can I hold moving forward and feeling comfortable with my investment portfolio with the cryptocurrency market? And I think it's come time that I have to start weeding some stuff out. My portfolio is up to like 40 coins. Some stuff been holding for years, and I think it's time for me to consolidate that down to like 10. And I think I've got to cut some of these losers that just haven't done anything throughout all of this. And there's a lot of stuff that I still have strong beliefs in that haven't gone on big runs, but I have faith in that idea. And that idea I can hold on to. And so right now, for my rotations that I have, I've essentially got two different privacy coins, right? I've got Dash and I've got Zcash. Between the two, from an activity standpoint and a community standpoint, Zcash is much more popular from what I see out there on Twitter and funding. And I still believe in privacy. But I think for me personally, I'm going to have to weed this down to one. And I'm going to take my Dash and I'm going to rotate it into my Zcash. Normally, I wouldn't do this. I'll look at the structure that Dash is doing and I think to myself, you know, the likely thing is probably going to rotate back up in here. I can go ahead and do that right there and then, you know, take care of business later. But the problem is I don't know what's happening with all of this contagion that's happening in the market and how bad things are selling off and what's going to make it and what's not going to make it. Watching Luna and UST go to zero drastically impacted me. And while this is what I'd normally do, I don't like that we're all the way back at the lows. One could argue, hey, this is like the biggest support level in the history of all time. That's the dumbest decision you could possibly make. I would agree with that, especially if Zcash is going to be the one who ends up doing the exact same thing. Well, how much lower does Zcash have to go? It's got 59% to get down to the same level that Dash is already at. So it's not that I think it's like the smartest thing on the chart to do. I mean, you could draw out here, hey, you know, you've got all this trend in here, you've got the support level in here, it all looks good. The problem is the contagion that just keeps happening in this market. And for my own personal convictions of what I believe in cryptocurrency, what I think is important in cryptocurrency, and minimizing what I own. And so from a technical standpoint, I'm not exactly loving the way Zcash is looking here after breaking a multi-year support. But I know that the enthusiasm about Zcash exceeds that of Dash. And in this market, community matters. And that's a major focus for me when it comes to realizing what's getting adopted and what's not getting adopted. As for EOS, as for Bitcoin Cash, same story. They've got the same structures. Normally, I'd be sitting here saying, hey, you know what? Roll back up in here, cut it. I mean, that's what you see happening in here, right? Rallies prior to capitulation, rolls back up, cut it in here, cut it in here. But the problem of contagion in this market is something that I can't shake for my own convictions right now. Again, could be the dumbest move in history. You're back here at support. EOS losing multi-year support, quite concerning. Still has support way down here. Could it go another 50% lower? It's possible. But for EOS, for Bitcoin Cash, they're going to where I have my strongest conviction in this market, and it's XRP. Doesn't necessarily mean the bottom of XRP is in. I think it's very possible it's not in, and that we could see lower prices that could be much lower. But for my long-term conviction, to be able to weather the storm of contagion, there's no place I'd rather be than here. Even though there's an SEC lawsuit overhanging that could turn ugly, like I mentioned, when I got into crypto, when I understood the use case that we could solve here, and there's a plethora of new use cases out there as well, this made sense to me. And so while we try to weather the storm, this is where I'm going. I have, like I said, I have 40 different digital assets in there. Lots of them look like this. The majority of the market looks like this. It doesn't matter where you go. This stuff exists everywhere. No matter what it is that you love, we see this stuff everywhere. Even Litecoin, one of the beloved cryptos from 2017 that even hit its all-time high here in 2021, still looking just as ugly down in there. And of course, Doge, massive as well. But as we head into this moment, and whether or not there's going to be continued contagion, or if the altcoin market's ready to rock and roll after hitting the 200-week moving average and after holding the all-time high candle closes in here. For me to remain with my conviction in this market and my understanding of the cryptocurrency market, it's time for me to start cutting a lot of the garbage that I have in my account. And I don't know if it's the right decision to make. And I'm not saying anybody should follow along with me. I could be making a huge mistake. But I want to be able to navigate moving forward, feeling confident in what I own. Even if the market's going to collapse with it, I want to at least have conviction in what it is that I'm owning. And I'm not saying these are all the assets you should own, but I'm going to narrow my portfolio down. And it's going to go down to these assets only. And that is XRP, Cardano. I'm still holding my Ethereum Classic, and that might be the dumbest idea in the history of the universe, but I'm still holding it. Zcash, Bitcoin, IOTA, Litecoin. I could say I don't feel super confident about Litecoin. That's a hard hold for me. That one was super borderline. Monero, Ethereum, Stellar Lumens. And then I do have a little side bag of Deegan coins, which I don't even know if they're Deegan coins, but I've got them. And that would be 0x, OXT, and the Graph. And OXT is Orchid. But my primary bag being XRP, Cardano, Ethereum Classic, Zcash, Bitcoin, IOTA, Litecoin, Monero, Ethereum, Stellar Lumens. Again, I don't know if that's the right bag to have, and I would not recommend following me. But I do know we're in a weird time in this market. We've had ridiculous amounts of contagion. We have macro elements at play. We have the altcoin market hitting the 200-week moving average, while at the same time, we've got Bitcoin breaking it down. It's a weird time in the market. Cash may end up being king moving forward if Bitcoin's going to go into a complete plunge. But if we're going to go into a longer period, and I'm going to be accumulating bags into a longer period, I want to have my stuff kind of picked out and ready to go and just keep adding to those bags as we go. I wish I knew the future of what's going to happen here. It's probably the most challenging time and conflicting time in my own head as we're in this moment. And I don't know what the right answer is. And I come onto this YouTube channel and we look at the charts and we talk about the charts, but is there an underlying thing that's also happening at the same time that's really kind of weighing over it? And I don't know. I don't know how much that impacts it. So I want to make sure that, hey, look, if I'm going to hold through this, I want to have stuff that I'll feel good adding to if the bear market gets much worse. And so I wanted to share that with you before I do it, because I haven't even done it yet. But by the time I come on here again, I will have. And of that bag that I have, of this 40 assets that I'm going to narrow down to the list that I mentioned, over half of it is going into XRP. The rest will kind of be split up between Cardano, IOTA, Monero, and Stellar Lumens. I don't know if that's the right play to make, but that's where I can hang out in and be like, look, I'm doing my best. The future is uncertain. It is a wild moment. The absolute best play may be just to go to cash, and maybe things are going to get a whole lot worse. With how fast things have happened, seems reasonable, but it's an unprecedented time. And for that, I'm going to where I feel comfortable. And I could tell you, these charts, some of them, they don't look like they bottom. Like Cardano does not look like a bottoming structure. Maybe it'll start looking like one over time and something will start working itself out. But I'm looking at this right here. It looks like it might want to break down. I mean, it seems possible to me. So I'm not doing this to be like, hey, I'm doing everything at the bottom and everything is going to be sunshines and rainbows after that. It's more of like weathering the storm of complete uncertainty that's happening in this market right now. Normally, that would be like going to Bitcoin, right? That's what people usually do, weathering storms of uncertainty. But I'm having a hard time seeing optimism for Bitcoin with it being below that 200-week moving average in there. And I imagine myself accumulating more Bitcoin. I imagine myself adding more Bitcoin to my bags while we get down in here. And then if that doesn't pan out, well, I'll wait all the way till down here to get some more Bitcoin. And I'm telling you, not everything I'm saying I even think is just the right decision to let go of things at the particular times that they're at. I really, really could see these things ripping back up and it being a better opportunity to do it at another time. But the confliction I have when I come onto this YouTube channel every day is being like, I am uncertain if this matters right here or if that matters right there. And I don't want to come on here being like, hey, this has to happen. Fingers crossed, please, let's go. Let's have this happen. right now it's so uncertain. It's the hardest thing I've had since I've had this YouTube channel to try to navigate this. It's caught me by surprise how fast it happened when we had the events happen with Luna and UST, and it just hasn't quit ever since. And it's just been more and more stacked on top of itself with Celsius, BlockFi, Three Arrows Capital, Voyager, and it's a hard time. And I want to be in the stuff that I have conviction on holding on, and not just being in some type of rotation play, but being in it because I'm like, okay, I'll weather the storm through this, right? And I don't want it to be interpreted that I'm doing this to buy the bottom of all of these things, because I don't know. And I look at some of these, like some of these are, if Stellar Lumens has to go do that and go all the way back down to the lows, well, that's the dumbest move on Bitcoin Cash, EOS, and Dash to do that, right? You essentially just double your losses on those, right? So it's not this is technically the right thing to do for those things. Most of them, like EOS, is still like 96% away from its all-time high. Well, so is XRP. XRP is 90% away from its all-time high. Stellar Lumens is over here, 88, 89% from its all-time high. IOTA is over here, 95% away from its all-time high. So the percentages, they're all still there on these things that I'm doing. But if the market's going to go through a really turbulent time, I want to be sitting in the stuff that I'm like, okay, I can handle this. This is my crypto portfolio. I'm not just in some rotations. I'm in the stuff that I can weather the storm with. So I hope you can understand that. So I feel good, man. If we're going to go through something like this, if it's going to get worse, if there's going to be more bodies that float to the surface after all of this, and where I want to be: XRP, Cardano, Ethereum Classic, Zcash, Bitcoin, IOTA, Litecoin, Monero, Ethereum, Stellar Lumens, and then really small bags of Deegan plays with 0x, OXT in the graph. And I don't think those are all perfect portfolios by any means. And the Bitcoin and Ethereum dominance points to it could just be breaking down, and we could be seeing these altcoins taking off and rallying like crazy anytime soon. And this is just a pause out before they keep going. And hey, if we get something like this and we get the altcoins flying, I may sell stuff into USD at that point, because this is where the majority of my focus is at right now with this market. Whether I'm right or wrong, I don't know, but I think that the rest of the altcoin market's going to outperform Bitcoin, and it's going to outperform Ethereum. Which does that mean? Does that mean that Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to collapse and the altcoin market's going to collapse less? Or are we finally going to get our retrace and we're going to get a rally happen in the altcoin market? Because every single time these move downs have happened, there was a rally in the altcoin market. I'm hoping for that. It's happened every time, but this is a unique situation I've never been through ever in the cryptocurrency market. I try not to make rash decisions in the heat of the moment, to just be like, sell everything. But try to take time to ponder things and debate, what do I want to do here? And after spending enough time thinking about it, this has kind of just been the decision that I'm going to go with. Just getting the portfolio more consolidated to the places that I want to be. Maybe cash is king. Maybe the market's collapsing. Maybe it's going to get much worse. That might be the best play to make. That's not what I'm doing. I'm merely consolidating into the things that I can have more conviction in. And I wanted to share that with you before I do it. So that way you guys know where I'm at. Whether I'm right, whether I'm wrong, you guys always know. You guys know I sold the Pico top of Ethereum, got out at the top of Bitcoin, but you also know I've had some rough rides too. And so you know where I'm at. I'm transparent on it, and we'll see how things play out. So that's it. Late video release. I spent a lot of time thinking about this today. I spent time with my daughter, hang out with my daughter too, just kind of thinking about it. And I was thinking about it all day, right? I should be present in the moment with my kids, but instead I'm thinking about this stuff, and it's this is what I need to do. So my XRP bag grows even more. But all right, guys, that's going to be it for this one. It's a late video release. We'll see who catches it, and I'll let it run in the morning too. I hope that you guys are doing well out there. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you could be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.